let's talk about thread count in a suit and what it means. And again, I'm going to refer to our friends, the traveling tailors that come from who knows where, and they'll say something like, if you buy a Super 100 suit, you get charged X. And if you buy a Super 120's, it's X plus 10. And if you buy Super 150's, it's X plus 30. So they'll say that higher thread count, that 100, 120's, 130's, the higher you go, the better the suit is, and therefore the more expensive the suit is. And I'm here to tell you that's absolute bullshit. It is bullshit. Let me tell you why. First of all, let's talk about what thread count is. Thread count effectively refers to how thin the fibers in the cloth are that construct the cloth. That's basically what it means. The higher thread count is how many individual fibers go into a strand, into your strings that construct the fabric that are sewn together. And the higher the thread count to construct that thread, meaning that it means that there's more individual fibers that constructed, therefore each individual fiber is thinner and finer. That's kind of a very rough description of thread count, very rough definition. Now, when the tailors that come in, they'll say, well, a higher thread count is better than the other. There's a couple of big problems with that, okay? Let me go over a couple of big problems. Number one, cloth is constructed with what's called warp and weft. In the kind of layman's terms, that just means length and width. So you have the width, you have the length, and it's crossed together, and that constructs a piece of fabric, okay? Different high-end mills will present a Super 100's cloth, for example, meaning that you have Super 100's level threads going both lengthwise and widthwise. Warp and weft are both Super 100's. However, lower-end mills will say Super 100's because only one of these is Super 100's and the other one is just horse shit, okay? And it's not the same thing when you have a cloth that is constructed with Super 100's threads going in each direction versus a cloth where one has Super 100's threads and the other one just has horse shit. It's not the same thing. However, this is very, very often done, in fact, almost ubiquitously done across the board by lower-end mills that you haven't heard of in order to promote their product as Super 100's when it's not. You will not get this problem with a high-end mill. Dorme, Scabal, Loro Piana. These mills are very, very protective over the standards of their cloth, which is why when you see those brands on your cloth, you're paying more because you're getting the right thing. Secondly, the industry for cloth weaving is fairly unregulated. I'll give you an example. Back in the day, JCPenney used to have a Donald Trump, yep, Donald Trump sold suits, the Donald Trump Super 200's suit sold for $400. I mean, that's insane, right? First of all, a pure Super 200 suit in the right cloth and construction will easily cost you 10 grand. It's like, how does Donald Trump do it for $400? Well, here's why. If 1% of your cloth contains one particular yarn that is a Super 200's and 99% of it is horse shit, people in our industry will often say this is Super 200's because there's no regulation into how much of something needs to go into the suit to actually make it that suit, to make it that weave. So when you see a traveling tailor say, oh, Super 150's, you pay more, is the warp and weft both 150's? Is it 100% 150's in both the warp and weft? Or is it 1% 150's, 99% bullshit? What is it? What is it? Next point. Manufacturers of cloth and especially retailers frankly lie about this. They just straight up lie. What does that mean they lie? Well, it means they say it's 150's and it's not. And this is pretty common because the everyday consumer, how do you test it? You don't have a lab to test it, so you don't know what you're getting, right? Again, which is why when you're buying from a credible mill and or a credible brand, you are getting a product that you're paying for. You're getting the real product. Next up, is 150's better than 200's? Is 200's better than 150's? Well, again, our traveling friends will tell you that the higher the thread count, the better it is. Not true. I have a Super 200 suit. It was very expensive, and it is beautiful, and it's the real deal. I wouldn't wear it every day. I'm going to wear through it. It is so fine. It is so incredibly, it has that, it's wool, but it has that very silky feel because it's so high spun. It's a very eloquent cloth. Well, I can't wear that every day to work because I'm going to wear through it faster. So if you do get a pure thread count and it's higher, that's a dangerous proposition to say the higher thread count is better. That's just not true. There are Super 100 cloth that are so incredibly impeccable, Holland and Cherry being a mill that constructs a fantastic Super 100's cloth, and that cloth is easily performing better, feeling better, lasting longer, better to tailor, better, drapes better. That Super 100's is infinitely better than any 150's that I've ever seen 150's from a traveling tailor selling that. So when somebody says, is this 100's, 120's, 130's, 150's, that is not a question of quality. That is a statement of lack of education on the industry that we're in. And often people say that feeling educated, feeling like they know, but they don't. So when you're buying a suit and you're looking for high-end cloth, look for the label the cloth comes from. It does make a difference. It does make a difference that a higher-end fabric, that is a true higher-end fabric, would come from an established brand. These brands have spent often generations building a reputation on trust because they provide you what they say they're providing you. Likewise, when you're shopping with a high-end brand like a Canali, like a Brioni, like a Keaton, like an LGFG fashion house, when you're buying from a high-end brand, you are buying a guarantee that you are getting a product that will last, a product that will perform, and above all, a product that is what it says it is. Thank you very much.